Hello everyone, this is Dennis at Boulder Sounds. I will be giving you a short demo of the Harmonium library for Kontakt. This is version 2. This is an absolutely terrific sounding instrument. The original instrument, which is pictured here on the front panel of Kontakt, was a 3 1/2 octave keyboard. For the Kontakt version, we've stretched it out to 5 octaves. And this features really great KSP scripting by Bo Clausen. It's very similar to the interface of the harmoniums of the opera library, if you're familiar with that one at all. So let me jump right in. We have 3 tabs. We have settings, we have an instrument tab, and the effects tab. So if I go back to the instrument tab, you notice we have 2 stops. Stop number 1 is highlighted now. And if I want to choose stop number 2, I can trigger it with the mouse, or I could use these key switches down here. And above that it says open cover. So right now what we'll hear is stop number 1 with the cover of the harmonium open, which gives it a nice bright airy sound, and the cover of the harmonium is located right here in the graphic. So here's what that sounds like. And you'll notice the volume is fading slightly in and out because I'm using the mod wheel, and I'll get to more details on that later. Stop 2 has an octave couplet engaged. The button above it, let me go back to stop 1. Says open cover. So here's what the open cover samples sound like, and these are all separate samples. These are not created by any kind of filter in Kontakt. If I close the cover, and here's what the stop 2 sounds like with the cover closed. And here's it back open. So quite a bit brighter sound, very present. So now below that we have Amplitude envelope. And here we have control over the attack time of the Amplitude envelope. So this is set at 100 milliseconds as a default. And I can crank that all the way up to 300 milliseconds. For a slower attack, or I can increase the attack speed. I'll take it down to 12. For a rather fast attack speed, and these can all be controlled via continuous controllers if you wish to do that. If I command click on the Mac a knob, it sets it back to its default setting. We also can affect the attack curve shape. So negative settings will give you more of a concave sound, and positive settings give you more of a convex shape to the Amplitude envelope. Okay, in the next column we have, at the top it says key noises. And we have a knob for key presses and key releases. So both key press sample noises and key release sample noises were recorded. And here you can set the volume of each of those. If you don't want to hear them all, you can just simply turn them off. Here's the key press. I'll turn it up all the way so you can hear the actual sample. And by the way, I'm playing on a controller keyboard here with a lapel mic on, so you're hearing a little bit of the key press of this controller, which is a bit noisy in the key bed. So those are extremely loud key presses. I don't think anybody would use that, but just so you can hear them. And then you can just balance them out the way you'd like them. Okay, and the default on that one is minus 25 dB. And the key releases, let me turn these up all the way so you can hear them. Sorry for that terrible chord. Okay, so command click on the Mac. I believe it's control click on the PC to set it back to its default setting. Okay, now below that we have a button that says velocity off. So the harmonium's volume is created by the pumping of the bellows, not by how hard you hit the keys. But if you want to have a traditional response, like a keyboard where you play harder, you get a louder sound, you play softer, you get a softer sound, you can simply turn on that button and have that kind of volume control just by velocity if you wish to have it. The default setting is to have that off. And below that you see it says pump control, and we have a drop-down menu. Right now it's set on manual pump. We also have a choice of doing auto pump, which is a LFO controlled pumping effect, or just turning the pump off. So right now I'll show you the manual pump feature. And so if I just play a chord or a phrase and I move my mod wheel away from me with this setting, it will decrease in volume. And it's not just volume control, there's a little bit of filtering going on as well. So if I want a more extreme control of the volume, so when I move the mod wheel away from me, it decreases it even more, I can turn this knob down to maybe, say, 90%. And as I go away from to the extreme setting, it'll be more exaggerated, where it almost disappears. Okay, if you prefer to pump the other way, so that when the mod wheel is at its minimum setting and that gives you no volume, you can just turn this knob. It's bipolar. I'm going to move it clockwise to 93%, and now what we get is this. And if you watch the mod wheel on Kontakt's interface here, you can see what I'm doing. So it just depends on which way you prefer to pump. And I'll discuss the auto pump now. And there's various settings for auto pump on the settings page where you have flexibility over the speed of the pumping, and you can assign continuous controllers to that if you wish. But right now the volume is being controlled by an LFO. I'm just using my right hand. No mod wheel changes at all. So if you're terrible at the pumping effect, as I pretty much am, you can always use the auto pump feature. Okay, now on to the effects tab. So the effects tab down here on the bottom right, and you can see the space IR convolution is turned on, and we have a drop-down menu for your different IRs to choose from. We have ambience, chamber, church, hall, plate, and room. These are all great sounding. Here's a chamber. And church, well, we know what basically these sound like. Here's a plate. Okay. So if I go to each, I'll bring this back to the ambience setting. So if I turn the delay on, automatically my parameters are presented to me to edit. Chorus, and notice on the chorus menu, we have chorus, flanger, phaser, and a rotary effect. And then the EQ button gives you two options. You have an advanced EQ, which is this, where you can hone in on your frequencies a little bit more specifically, or just a general 3-band EQ with bass, mid, and treble if you just want to do a very quick tweak. So I'll turn those off. Oh, and one thing that's very important on all these effects, you notice I'm on the space. Let me go to the EQ page. Yes, sorry, I'm on EQ now. You have a drop-down menu which says Save Preset. You can do your programming on the EQ preset, and then it says Save Preset. So we can save 6 presets of EQ settings, and you can save those as a bank, and you can load them, name them, make numerous banks if you want, and then you can select your various presets that you've made for the various effects and combine them together to create, entirely different sounding instruments. So this is true for all the effects. You have a great deal of flexibility in editing, saving, and recalling them. So now let's move over to the settings page. And you see here in the left-hand column it says key switches. Well, you can customize where your key switches are going to be. It just has to be outside of the range of the harmonium samples. So for example, stop 1 is located here. If I want it to bring it down to the D note, I just click on the button that says Learn Stop 1. I press the D on my keyboard, and you see the green key has moved from the G down to the D. And you could do the same thing up here in the upper range of the keyboard if you preferred. So I'll bring it right back to where it was. I just click on step 1, press the low G, and there it is. So that's a nice convenient feature, and it tells you what note you've selected below the button as well. And you have that for the stop 1 being closed samples, stop 2 open lid samples, and stop 2 closed samples. So you can assign any of those 4 key switches wherever you want to put them on the keyboard. And in the next column it says keyboard. You can change the perspective of the sound as though you're sitting behind the instrument versus sitting in front of the instrument. It defaults to the player's perspective, or you can switch it to the public perspective. To the right of that we have stereo field controls. We can get a very wide stereo image. Or we can play the harmonium in mono. And below keyboard over here it says spread. That's the panning, how wide the keys are panned across the harmonium keyboard. And here's the panning of the image itself. So center, or all the way to the right, all the way to the left. And global volume down here is just a nice convenient control for your master volume. In this column where it says set speed CC number, that's the continuous controller number. This refers to the auto pump, and right now it's set on controller number 1. If you want to change it to a different control number, just use this knob and choose your control number. The speed base column here refers to the auto pump. So if auto pump is turned on, I'll go back to the main instrument panel. So auto pump is on right now. So if I go back to the settings and I want to increase that speed, or slow it down, and of course you could control that in real time with a continuous controller. And the last one here is the set pump CC number. This is in reference to the manual pump. So if you want to change this from continuous control number 1, which is your mod wheel, to something else, you do that right here. I think that about covers it. I think you'll find this to be a terrific sounding instrument, very flexible in terms of programming, also very reasonably priced, I believe. And this instrument's been used by a lot of high-profile opera companies, believe it or not. The Boston Symphony Orchestra, Metropolitan Opera, Carnegie Hall has also used this instrument as well. So thank you very much for watching, and best to you from Boulder Sounds.